What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. But if you're new and this is the first time you clicking on this channel, I definitely appreciate you stopping by. And of course, if you haven't already, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content or videos like this one, which I've been wanting to do for the longest time. But since it's 2023 and we're rolling into February, I thought it was a good time to do a video like this because it is just something that I think every new collector, either it's Hot Wheels or Diecast or any type of collecting, should at least know the basics before you get into it. So there is a lot to learn about collecting diecast, from the classic Hot Wheels castings all the way to even Matchbox. These are a little bit more vintage, maybe like late 90s, early 90s, but even the premium lines of Johnny Lightning and Auto World. But in this episode, guys, we're gonna stick strictly to Hot Wheels, but I'm here to tell you the basics on what you need to know before you start collecting. And if you have already, at least give you some pointers and tips just to prepare yourself to what's to come. First off, guys, you need to know what you want to collect. There are so many castings out there, it's insane. But if you're a car enthusiast, you probably already have your favorite one in mind. Like I do, I have a lot of Mustangs, all kinds of variations and brands. Start out with that. Don't get too caught up into buying everything that's on the shelf because it can get out of hand real quick. Super quick, so quick that you start filling up drawers and totes and wall space and you just don't know what to do with yourself. Because realistically, they are no longer just $1 cars. This year we saw them go from 94 to 98 cents to about $1.08 to even $1.25 if you're at Walmart looking at their exclusive lineups of just some basic castings. Like the Stars and Stripes series, those ones go for about $1.25, even a little more. So if you start collecting a casting that you really like, buy 2 of them. It is so important to buy 2 of them because when I bought this collection, I only bought one of almost every car you see here. I bought one because I was just collecting it. I didn't think I was gonna ever open them. I was just like, oh, let me just buy one. And now I regret it because there are so many options out there for wheel swaps, customs, even just displaying, racing them on your tracks and doing all that stuff. You are now limited to opening that one car you have. So definitely buy 2, one to open and one to keep carded. So yeah, back in 2010 when I bought all these, I was only getting one. So that is a huge regret. Definitely buy more than one, especially if it's one of your favorite castings. But then there's some people that buy so many of maybe one particular casting. Maybe they buy like 30 of these. You just really got to figure out what their intentions are. They might be customizers. Customizers will buy 20, 30, 40 of the same castings because they make customs out of it. Just like Hewitt's Diecast and many other customizers out there, they will buy a bunch of Nova Gassers and make wicked customs of different liveries, different colors, different decos. So when you see someone buying 30 of a car, figure out what their intentions are before you make a judgment. Or they just might like hoarding that casting just so they can have options to trade. Maybe they're picking them up for their friends. You never know the circumstance. So of course there's the term scalper, but we're not going to touch that topic. That could be in another video if you guys want. And another thing you need to know, guys, is hunting. You got to do it early and do it often. If you want to score supers or chase pieces, you have to be consistent. It gives you greater chances to finding the hard to finds or even the hot ones that you might also be chasing. Just remember, other collectors are doing the same thing, so you definitely need to be getting to your stores early. Maybe doors opening. That's what I used to do back in Arizona because that is when you scored fresh stuff, and you just have to really be on top of it if you want the payout of getting that super or treasure hunt you just really want to add to your collection. Plus, it allows you to understand how your area store operates. You can soon figure out their days to restock, and you start figuring out a pattern, and then you start going on those days and you start increasing your chances of getting those rare and hard to find castings. Now, just like with many other collectible type of hobbies, we all have that chase or limited run diecast, but there are things you need to know if you want to get your hands on them for your collection. First is the infamous Super Treasure Hunt. I just briefly talked on it, but it's also known as the Super, or Soup for short. Now, T-Hunts have been around since '95 and began as a 12 car, one per month, and of course, now they're a little bit more increased in production, so they're not as rare as they used to be back when they were first released, but they still are hard to find. Now, Supers have been around since 2007 when they created the 2-tier system, which made it a little harder to find because you had your regular treasure hunts and then you had the treasure hunts with the real riders, and now they separated it from treasure hunts to the Supers, which have the Spectra Flame paint, rubber tires, gold flame, and the TH somewhere on the body. Now, the regular treasure hunts, like back in the day, will still have the plastic wheels and the circle and flame somewhere on there. Before then, it was the TH on the regular treasure hunts. Now that TH is associated with the Supers. Now, finding one can be challenging and very time consuming, but don't go overboard searching for just those, because guess what? So is everyone else. And if it comes up when you're hunting, then it's a bonus, but don't kill yourself just driving around trying to find Supers. Now, when I talk to people who are intrigued about what I collect, sometimes I forget they don't understand some terms. So study the lingo. It may sound silly, but when you talk to a real collector of anything, they are very knowledgeable and will be throwing out terms within their niche. Like for us, we use castings or premiums, loosies, soups, RLCs, exclusives, tampos. Now, to the average person, no one's gonna even understand what that is, but we all know a loosie is just a loose casting. An RLC is a Redline Club member car. Exclusive is exclusive to a particular store. And then of course there's tampos. Tampos are what makes the details or the sticker-like design of the body of the car. So this is a tampo, the number 76 laid over the paint, which sometimes make the livery of the car, or the full body deco, which is like a racing livery. Or maybe it just comes to like the headlights and taillight details. Some have them front and back, some just have them in the front, some just have them in the back, but not all castings have headlight details and taillights and all that stuff. The premium lineups do, and even some factory fresh releases from Hot Wheels will have the tampos, front and rear details. Get yourself some premium castings like the Boulevard series or the Car Cultures. These have your full details. And of course, now they have the new chase pieces for the Car Culture series, which are listed as number 0 out of the 5 cars. And they won't be listed on the back. So it'll only give you the 5 cars here, and the chase piece is all blacked out. I think that's a super cool idea, but of course, it makes those people who really want to find the hard to find ones really stay on top of their game, and they are on those stores like crazy. And then there's Zmack. Now, these are Walmart exclusive, which are raw bare metal castings like this Mustang right here. This is actually number 6 of 2019's Zmack release, and they all have the Zmack logo with the number ID associated to them, except for 2016. Now, I don't know why 2016 didn't have the Zmack logo on the card, but if you have a raw metal casting that doesn't say Zmack and it looks just like this one, it is the 2016 release. Now, 2013, 14, and 15 were also released, but were Walmart premiums, which came on a card similar to this one, but I'll throw a picture up for you guys just as a reference. So yeah, and it has real riders. Yeah, that's right, special card and real riders. Now, Zmack means zinc, aluminum, magnesium, and copper, although some thought it meant zinc, aluminum, metal alloy casting. That is incorrect. Now, getting to know how to reference your collection. Now, these are sites I've used for years, and they will tell you almost everything you need to know about any casting out there for your Hot Wheels, or even Matchbox. Matchbox has Fandom. I think other premium lineups have Fandom as well, but I'll have those links down in the description box below. But if you want to know what series, what year, what color they're supposed to be, all that info and description will be on Fandom's website. All you got to do is look up 69 Boss 302 and it'll tell you which colors are out there, which ones are exclusives, what wheels are supposed to be on there. So if you're curious on picking up a loose casting off of eBay and it says very, very hard to find, rare interior color, you can definitely check Fandom and make sure that it is legit. Plus, sometimes you even get sneak peeks on cars that are not even released yet. They just won't have the picture, but it'll tell you what series and all that, so you can definitely stay ahead of the game on that one. You can also find all your super treasure hunts, all that stuff on there. You can learn the wheel name, like the common ones, like the PR5s, like on this Mustang. You got MC5s, like the front wheel on this one. and their origin for some of them, so definitely check it out. Now, South Texas Diecast actually has the info if you want to see the value of a car. It hasn't been updated since 2018 and not even for 2023, but it's a good list and it's detailed for the older castings in your collection. So if you want to find out what this car is worth, carded versus loose, you can actually see that on there in case you're trying to buy from someone or you're on eBay looking. You can kind of see if it's in the right price range or not. So definitely check out South Texas Diecast. I'll have that link down below as well. As you see here, guys, there is a lot of stuff going on, and that is the addiction part of it that no one tells you about. So let's just say you will begin to get the urge to go out and look at your store hoping to catch that fresh drop, and you might even volunteer to go get some off-the-wall groceries, or let me go check to see if the store has this, just so you can get the one-off chance of catching that fresh case, or maybe just some fresh pegs. It's always a good thing to see fresh pegs, unless it's another case that you've seen over and over throughout the year. Don't get too caught up in buying everything at once or going to a second dealer to buy super expensive, because those cars, guess what? They might be a case released in January, but then you will see that A case again somewhere later on in the year, maybe mid-year, maybe even at the tail end of the year. You will see cases reappear. So just be patient and just stick to it. You will eventually get that casting. Patience is definitely key. Now with that, find your local collector pages. Most areas have Facebook groups associated with collecting Hot Wheels, customizers, resellers, etc. Just keep your eye on those groups, interact, share your collection. It's a good way to monitor what's going on in your area, and most people will make a public announcement to maybe fresh drops or what they found, and you can use it to trade. That's really what makes it fun. Trade for equal value though, not $1 basic car for a super or super hard to find exclusive. You got to do mainline for mainline or super for super, RLC for RLC, but it can get a little bit deeper than that. Some RLCs are valued more than others, so that can get into deeper weeds, but we're just sticking to the basics. So just do mainline for mainline, super for super. As mentioned earlier in the video, we said that you need to do your homework and make sure you know what goods come out of each case. Now, to read which case card your car came out of, look on the back of the hook and it'll give you the information you need. Now, the last letter right there, G, tells you that this came out of G case. Now, this is the 98 Prelude exclusive out of Dollar General, but at least it tells you that the G case was released onto your shelf. And of course, all the standard US cards will have the guaranteed for life. Then you run into international cards like this one that does not have the guaranteed for life. And if you look on the back, it has the international shipping code, not the case associated. So these make it a little bit harder. You can see the age requirement limit right there on the back and the foreign language. That is what makes an international card. Of course, like I mentioned, it won't have the guaranteed for life and it won't have the case associated. But if you know your case cards, you know that the Prelude came out of G case, and you find an international version, if you're like me and you like card variations, there you go. You just found a US and an international card of that same casting. Earlier we mentioned exclusives. We have thrown around that word a few times, but what is it and who has them? Now, common box stores like Walmart, Target have them. Target has the Flying Customs or Ultra Hot series, and even the red editions. I'll always reference my favorite one, which is the Joey Logano Target Red Edition right here. And on the side, it'll say red. Now, this one is the older one. The newer ones now have the new red logo. Like this one, it has the word red right there on the fender. Now, they're not always on the fender. They're somewhere on the vehicle, so definitely take a look at those. Now, the castings will use reds, blacks, whites in any order. Like you'll have this one. This is a red edition, but it's white with red. Then you have other variations of it, like this one right here. That is a mixture of all kinds, but it's still red. Now, they're not always a complete red. Like I said, you'll have whites, blacks, but just look for those colors and of course the words red edition on the card. Now, if you get that casting loose, like I said, go to Fandom, check it out. It'll tell you if it's a red exclusive or not. You can easily get confused. You might think this is a red edition just because it's red, or some look like it'd be an exclusive, like this Super Snake. You would think with the red and black and the super cool FTE wheels on there that it would be an exclusive. Just check Fandom and it'll let you know for sure. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Walmart's have their Zmacks. Those are exclusive to Walmart, but sometimes you might find it at Dollar Tree. It just depends on how they distribute those, but those are Walmart exclusives. They also have series exclusives, like Walmart had the convertible series, the Spider-Man series. Target has their own of the Flying Customs, and now the Ultra Hots that pretty much replaced the Flying Customs. But there are also many other stores that have their own exclusives, and they'll usually be painted a special color for that store and that store only. So like I mentioned earlier, this Prelude right here, it was the Dollar General exclusive, and it comes in this beautiful pearlescent green. But then you also have Walgreens exclusives, like the latest one's the 4GT in green. You have Fry's and Kroger, Myers, Kmart back in the day even had the exclusive Mustang, which was this one right here. This was exclusive for Kmart, but then they started showing up at Fry's and Kroger's. Toys R Us had theirs back in the day, and now Best Buy has their own exclusives. Now, other premium diecast brands have exclusives too, but we'll save that for another episode. Now, collecting loose. If you're like me, you like having both. At first, I started card collecting only, but then I started opening them up to enjoy. But if you like to collect just loose, definitely invest in jammers. This is definitely a must if you're a loose collector. They hold 48 cars, depending on size. Only ones that don't fit are the huge lifted off-road trucks, but some fit but rarely do. Low profile cars like the 4GT that I have right here. Now on one side, I was able to fit 48 cars. Now they are double stacked. You can protect them however you want. But just for storage purposes, I don't move these around so they don't really move on top of each other. But 48 cars fit just on one side and one side alone. Now you can find these pretty much anywhere. You can get them online, but the cheapest place is Hobby Lobby. These are $9 and they are very, very durable, very reliable. And of course they make storing your loose castings much easier. And like I said, you can get them at Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, but Hobby Lobby is definitely the cheapest for those, and sometimes you can get them for even lower than that, like $7. Now, YouTube is the biggest and best way to see what is out there. There are customizing videos such as Jakarta, Diecast Graveyard, just to name a couple, and even some diecast racing channels. Not this one, because this one's a decent one, but 3D Bot Maker has an amazing one, probably the best one out there, but also Scale Racing Channel and Races and Fun, just to name a few. But just search, watch them, enjoy them, because there are a lot of great channels for everything diecast related. Now, another thing, guys, you have to really grasp is do not sell off your collection. We see it all the time. Someone wants to take a break because they're frustrated they can't find anything, or they're just getting too overwhelmed, or they actually are running into financial issues. That's a little different, but do not sell off your collection. We see it all the time just to see them start back all over again. So make sure that's what you really want to do before you sell off anything. Like me, I'm just putting all the stuff I don't really want to have on display in totes, because I know later on I'm gonna regret selling them. In the past, I've sold off or traded away or just given away a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, man, I should have held on to it. So definitely leave that as a last resort, like extreme. Just store them in totes for a moment, and if you really just don't want them, then that's when you can make that decision. Sell them, trade them, or give them ones who really need them. Trading is what makes any collecting hobby fun, so you'll go through phases of buying oddball things and then slow down. So just be careful. Just remember to have fun and enjoy the 164s or 124s, 118s, whatever you collect. Just enjoy them. Now, these were just my basics, guys. These are just things you should know before even collecting, or even if you're in the middle of just now beginning. Just do your homework. Like I mentioned, guys, check out Facebook, check out YouTube channels, watch the content that's out there, get associated and familiar with your Facebook pages, and of course, Fandom is just my hands down go-to site. Now, if you want to track and log your stuff instead of doing it the old school way of printing out paper and writing them down or taking pictures, there is an app called Diecast Database or Diecast DB. It is on Google Play and Apple, so definitely download it. I think it's like $2 a month. It's super cheap, but definitely a huge go-to. They are now at 9,000 cars loaded into their database. And I mean, they got all the variations from the standard cards to short cards. Even if you have the castings, you can now select if it's a loose casting or not, and you can log it. You can trade on there. You can mark your car if it's up for trade. And now they just released a new feature to where you can upload your own custom diecast and have it in the database for even sale. You can even click if you want it for sale. So definitely check it out, download it. It is amazing and a really good way to digitally log all of your stuff. And of course, it's also a good way to find out what else is out there that you don't have. So definitely check it out. I'll have the link down below. But if there's anything in this list that you feel that I missed, comment down below and I will add it to another episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. And of course, like I always say, check the description box and comment down below for some feedback, because I've been wanting to do a video like this just to give you guys some insights on what is out there and just some things you should know. So that is all we got for this episode, guys. Until next time, this is the Mustang Hunter. Peace.